Researchers from across the UK conducted research into leadership in nursing and midwifery during the COVID-19 pandemic. They explored nurses' leadership practices at every level of health and social care organisations that promoted healthfulness or well-being for individuals and teams. The intended outcome of this research was to learn lessons going forward about how to create cultures where nurses and midwives want to and are happy to practice. What the researchers found was that leaders who adopt healthful leadership practices are visible and available. They listen to nurses and midwives' concerns, which enable them to respond to individual and team needs. Being visible and available also helped them to represent nurses and midwives and advocate for them at strategic level within the organization. They use multiple communication methods. They are present in the workplace, walking alongside individuals and teams. They are present in meetings, discussion spaces, and huddles, participating in conversations. They also communicate effectively using remote means such as video calls, emails, WhatsApp messages, and notice boards. They use these to disseminate information like protocols and well-being resources, but they curate the information as so not to overwhelm colleagues. These approaches make nurses and midwives feel valued and safe in their practice and workplace. Where leaders are perceived as authentic, they display emotional intelligence. They embody their values, which nurses and midwives recognize as being aligned to their organization values. Compassion, caring, and other-centeredness are values leaders demonstrate. This is evident through the engagement in their own self-nurturing practices and also in the way they connect with others. They have an air of calmness. This way of being leads to increased morale in teams and to nurses and midwives taking responsibility for their own and their colleagues' well-being. Ultimately, nurses and midwives feel connected to each other and they experience job satisfaction. Other healthful leadership practices are dependent on leaders being well prepared and having a clear understanding of themselves as leaders. This helps them to be responsive in different situations and to be flexible and adaptable in their leadership approach. It also helps them to ensure colleagues are adequately prepared for the role and to offer practical support. They engage in collaborative processes such as mentoring and coaching, and they create spaces for learning and discussion. As a result of these practices, nurses and midwives feel motivated to practice autonomously with confidence and competence. These healthful leadership practices can create a healthful working culture, but leaders are only able to adopt these practices if they are working in a nurturing environment, in an organizational culture where their well-being is prioritized. Healthful leadership practices are possible if leaders know themselves as leaders, embody their values, and are visible and available. For more information about this research, please contact Caroline Dixon at Queen Margaret University.